Alright, now let's divide. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to factor the top. So I need something that multiplies up to negative 15, but adds up to 2. Well, that would be x minus 3, x plus 5. And on the bottom here, I would get x plus 4 and x minus 4. Now here's the only thing. Remember that dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So we're going to take this and factor it and put it on top. Well, we can pull a 3 out of this and get 3 times x minus 4. And then on bottom we'll put the x plus 5. And that's it. That's how we do that. Now we can go to cancel. Of course, before we cancel, we should mark our restrictions. So x cannot equal negative 4, 4, or negative 5. And now let's cancel. So you'd be left with 3, x minus 3 over x plus 4. And you can put parentheses down there. You don't really need to, but there's kind of implied. Okay, so that's how you divide. Alright, so go ahead and try this one. I'm going to work it out for you in just a second, so you may want to pause the video now. Okay, when you factor this, you get x plus 8, x plus 2. Down here you get minus 8 and plus 2. And then if you flip these, so we're going to do x squared minus 64 on top, that's x plus 8, x minus 8, and x plus 8 goes on bottom. Then you just mark your restrictions, which is going to be 8, negative 2, and negative 8. And then you just cancel things, and you're left with just x plus 8. Alright. I'm going to do this one with you guys real quick. This is just a monomial. So we can just write this as 7 times, well, the 12. I'd bring the number up. The 12 is going to go on top. If you don't want to, you don't have to write the 12 right now. I could just write 7x4 times 12y4. Bring this guy up top, and then 24y5 times 21x. You can just do that, and that's fine. But what's going to happen here is some things are going to go a little crazy, so you might want to keep track of everything, because things are going to cancel. So, for example, 24 and 12, you could pull a 12 out of both of those. Leave with your 2 and just a 1, so you don't have to mark it. The y5 and the y4, well, you can get 4 y's to cancel out, so they'll cross off all 4 of those y's, and you cross off all 4 of those y's by just leaving 1 y. 7 and 21, you can pull a 7 out of both of those, leaving you with just a 1 and leaving you with a 3. And then finally, you can pull 1x out of both of these, leaving you with x to the third. Okay, now let's rewrite what we have left. Up here I have just an x to the third, and down here I have 2 times 3y, so 6y. And that's it. That's how you would simplify something like that. Okay, I think you guys could do these next two on your own, and I will put the answers up in just a second, so you may want to pause the video now. Okay, so couple of things here. I rewrote it as factored 6x plus 1 over 7, and then I put the x minus 2 on top and the 4 times x plus 1 on the bottom. And then I marked my restrictions, so obviously x can equal negative 1, but we also have to mark the restrictions of the previous denominator, so x can equal 2 either. And then we could cancel some stuff out, and we were just left with 3 times x minus 2 over 14. Okay. Here, you can write it out as y plus 7 minus 7 minus 7 minus 7. You can pull out a y and get y minus 7, and then pull out a 5 and get 5y plus 7. That means the restrictions are going to include this term here because that used to be your denominator, this denominator, and this denominator. So we got y can't equal 7, we got y can't equal 0, we got y can't equal 7 again, and we got y can't equal negative 7. So I wrote those over there. Everything cancels, you get y minus 5, y over 5. Alright. For this one, I'm going to redo it. Okay, the trick to these crazy looking ones, this is a complex fraction, by the way. It's a rational expression whose numerator or denominator contains another rational expression. I have some step-by-steps over here, and this first step is just write it as fractions being multiplied. Well, that's what we've been doing this whole time, right? That's what we did up here, so let's do the same thing here. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take this top, we'll write it over again. So we get an r squared over, now we can factor this. This is a difference of squares. R minus 5s, R plus 5s, times, let's take this thing, and we got to flip it. So we're going to put a 5s minus r over just an r. Let's not worry about restrictions for these two. Let's just forget about them. But because sometimes you have problems with it telling you that it doesn't really matter. So now let's take a look. We have an r minus 5s, and here we have a 5s minus r. Well, that's not really the same thing. Is there some way we can make it look like the same so we could cancel them? That'd be nice, right? Well, let's think about this. What if I wanted to take out a negative 1 of both terms? What would happen? Well, I'd get a negative 1 up front. That would become a negative 5s, and that would become a positive r. Oh, well, now I can switch the order of these guys. I could write that as negative r minus 5s. If I brought down everything else, I'd have an r on bottom, r minus 5s, r plus 5s, and remember an r squared. And this is not r squared minus, so you're going to need to maybe put other parentheses or something so you know you're multiplying by that thing. Okay, well, now we can see, hey, r minus 5s cancels out. R squared, so one of those r's will cancel out with this r. And we're left with just really a negative 1 times r. So you just write that as negative r over r plus 5s. There you go. Okay, last problem. I'm going to let you guys do, so I'm going to pause the video and I'll show you how to do it in a second so you can check your work. Okay, this is a big one. This you can pull out a 6, and you get 6 times y squared minus 1. Then down here you would pull out an 8y and get 8y times y plus 1. Then here you could pull out a 4y and get 4y times y plus 1. And here you could pull out a 3 and get 3 times y minus 1. And then what you should see is that this y squared minus 1 is a difference of squares. So you could write this as y plus 1 and y minus 1. And then you can see things just start canceling out like crazy. So you got y minus 1, y minus 1, y plus 1, y plus 1, y, and y. 4 and 8 leaves you with a 2, 3 and 6 leaves you with a 2. And then I rewrote it again just because it got a little messy. And you notice you have a 2 on top and the bottom, so those cancel, and you're left with finally just y plus 1. So this whole thing here is equal to just y plus 1. Pretty cool. So, yeah, that's it for dividing. So now we're done multiplying and dividing. See you guys on the next video.